guys using the stuck sketches, and this is a Instagram page, I believe, but I will definitely link it below for you. I'm going to be using this So Happy paper, or So Happy Together paper from, I believe it's Simple Stories, and it is super old, but I wanted to document these pictures of my nephew at a local amusement park that has a place where you can go in and feed the birds. And this So Happy Together has a paper that you can maybe see a little bit over there on the far left with some birds on it. So I wanted to use this collection for these photos. So what I decided to do was I'm going to go ahead and cut down my photos. I do not have two portrait size photos, so I just went ahead and made my 4x6 photo a little bit smaller, and I'm going to change up the dynamics just a little bit. Not anything major, but you could definitely see that I used the sketch for inspiration. Now, this sketch also calls for a really big banner, a lot bigger than my punch will do. So this is how I typically do it. I just find the center point, draw a line, and then use that as a template to do the other side so that they are as close as possible. With them being this big, it's kind of difficult to make it exact, but I'm okay with it not being exactly straight. So I pulled out some of the 3x4 cards and used those to tuck into a couple places that the sketch calls for. And I also used my We Are Memory Keepers corner chomper, I believe is what it's called. I bought that, and it's intended to like cut through chipboard and things like that, but I don't ever use it for chipboard. I just like the fact that it has two different sizes, 1/4 of an inch and 1/2 an inch, and I can use that on my layouts. So what I did was I just put an X in the middle of the paper because I knew that I was going to be sewing on this layout. The layout does call for some circles, and again, I'm in this really sewing fit right now. So I went ahead and pulled out my Creative Memories circle template, and I drew a circle in pencil, and it covers up really nicely. You can't see it after I punch all the holes and get the thread in. And what I end up doing is making 3 circles. So I'm gonna show you guys the back stitch that I use. It's a very easy stitch. You just go down one hole and then up the previous hole, and it gives you this nice back stitch. It does take a little bit longer than any other stitching or like regular stitching, but I really like the way that it looks. So after I did the first circle, I got smart about it. And what I did was I went ahead and drew the circle in its entirety, and then I laid my paper down and drew lines where I knew that it was going to be for the cream paper there as well as the photos. And then for the second and third stitching circle, I did not put stitching in the parts that were going to be underneath the photos for 2 reasons. One, it takes less time to get that done, and 2, it does cause a lot of bulk in your layouts. So if you go over where the photos are, it's going to cause a lot more bulk, unnecessary bulk to your layout. So I did take a picture of the layouts after I decided where I wanted the photos, but before I took it up to make sure that it would kind of stay in the same place. It doesn't end up exactly in the same place, but at least it gives me an idea. I hate when I try to put it back and it doesn't even come close and I can't remember. So I always just take a picture of it, and then, you know, once I get it down and adhered, I go ahead and delete that photo. So that's what you see on my phone in the left-hand side. So like I said, these photos are from a place that allows you to feed the birds. It's called Gatorland, and it's a smaller theme park. Obviously here in Central Florida we have some really big theme parks, but it's really nice. They have a really good discounted price for Florida residents, and we can go and have a nice day there. It's actually a pretty big park, and of course it has gators, but it has this area to feed the birds, and then it also has a water park. So if you look closely at the photos, you can see that my nephew's hair is wet because they had played in the water park first and then kind of went and did everything else. So we tend to go probably 2 or 3 times a year, and it's always so much fun. My nephew is one of those people who says, hey, I want to do that, and gets all excited about it. But then when it comes to actually getting it done, he is deathly afraid of things. So if you look, that picture on the far left, like right underneath the circles, his facial expression in that one is like, oh my goodness, what have I got myself into? So it's a really cute photo. For the right-hand side of the layout, what I decided to do was to make a grid style with the 2 4x6s, and I cut one photo down to 3x4, and then I used a 3x4 card that says give them roots and wings. I thought that was kind of appropriate with the whole bird thing, the whole bird theme of this layout. I did go ahead and pull out my embellishment book to use on this layout as well, because a lot of the embellishments and stickers that were in this kit were not necessarily for a bird theme. So I did find 3 chipboard birds, and I really like the way that they are in each one of the clusters. Once I get this sticker down that says it's a great day, I go ahead and move that bird over just a little bit so that it's all together in that cluster. And I do use some liquid adhesive on these chipboards. I do believe that these chipboard pieces are also simple stories, but I think they may be from a summer collection, but it works with the colors of this layout, and you can't help but have some birds on the layouts itself. So the Stuck Sketches is a great Instagram group if you want to join. They do lots of sketches that you can join in on, and challenges and things like that. So I recommend going over there and checking out Stuck Sketches on Instagram. And I also want to remind you guys that I have started an Instagram page. Well, I've had the Instagram page for a while, but I have been starting to incorporate more videos over there so that you can see me in between the times that I post videos here on YouTube. So most of the videos are things that I am currently doing in my craft room, or things that I purchased. If you guys noticed that I did start to monetize my channel back in November of 2019, and I got my first payout for that monetization, and I was able to get legendary. And so if you go over and check out Instagram, you will see that story over there, so you can check out and see all the fun things that I am doing behind the scenes. I really wanted the feathered part of my title to set in between that friends, and I found some Ellie Studio stickers that were a perfect size for that. And I really liked the blocked style letter next to the cursive letters in the word friends, so I think that it came out pretty good. This stencil is from Tim Holtz. It's called Dot Fade, and I really like this stencil. It gives the layout kind of a splattered look like you would do with your inks, and I don't really have like a brown or a color that would really go with this, and I didn't want the splatters kind of everywhere. So if you look at the close-ups, it's just a little bit because I used an ink pad instead of liquid ink, but I think that it just adds a little bit of extra touch. I really like the way that the dots look on the background paper. There is some distressing to the background paper, and it looks maybe like somebody had put like a sandpaper over it and colored it out, but the texture of the paper is smooth. So then adding those dots with the ink pad really helps with that distressed look as well. All right, everyone, here is my final layout as well as some detailed shots. If you enjoyed this video, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already and you want to see more double page layouts, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because that's all you're going to get on my channel. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope that you have a scrappy day.